very eventful offseason. I think we knew it would be because we knew we had the cap space. Anytime you got a lot of money to work with, that's exciting. And the Titans, yeah, that's another thing. I feel like there have been times where we had money in the past, and it was just like, oh, we signed some linebacker from the fourth string of the
Yeah.
Broncos, and sometimes you got to get those guys, but to see Calvin Ridley, Sneed, Awuzie,
Mm-hmm.
Cushenberry, Pollard, I mean, huge signings all over the
Yeah.
place. That I want to publicly say, as I've said a million times, if the Colts had the same offseason the Titans have had, people be
Oh
going
yeah,
nuts.
forget it. They'd be dark horses for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't understand. I don't understand why we have to act like Anthony Richardson is a proven commodity
Yeah.
when hey, he may be great, but how can you say he is or he
Yeah.
isn't? He's played
And
with
they have him ahead of Levis on every list imaginable.
who
And it
was
just
it?
goes to show you how uneducated these people are that get paid to talk sports and how little work they do. Because
Yeah,
it's true. The Titans get no respect on any level in any area. And it's really because solely that nobody watches us. And
yeah.
I think that's partially kind of our own fault in a way,
We're
because
boring.
we're boring. We've been boring almost our whole existence going
Yeah,
back to Houston. This has been a ground and pound team from Houston to Nashville, and it has not changed. Look at Steve McNair's stats, guys. I mean,
mm,
as great as he was, the guy barely ever threw over 3,000 yards because we never threw the ball. And he had an
right.
arm he had a cannon of an arm. And,
Yeah,
we ran Eddie into the ground. We ran Earl into the ground. We tried to run Derek into the ground.
we
We need to
ran,
change it up. You
tried to
start throwing
CJ too.
touchdowns. You start having a kid under center that can pump fake and throw the ball 70 yards down the field. People are going to start watching you. Then they're going to start giving you respect. And I think Levis is going to take a huge step this year, and people are going to start putting him higher up on the board. And hopefully we get a little more attention. Not like I care too much, but
Right.
it'd be nice to get a little spotlight from here and there.
Yeah.
More stuff to watch on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I know. I think that, in transitioning, talking about this upcoming season, Brian Callahan, new coach, obviously Rand Carthon with even more of a hands on impact this offseason, new staff. I mean, this is probably going to be one of the most from one season to the next. I mean, completely
Oh
different
yeah,
team,
absolutely.
off on the sideline and on the field. And we've always had the same kind of guy, I feel like, at coach. The Vrabel, when you look back, that was the most Titans hire ever.
Oh yeah.
Like, he is such a Titans coach.
Yep.
And now you're entering this new. I mean, come on, look at the NFL right now. If you're going to compete with Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, all of those quarterbacks are in the AFC. Why can none of these guys go to the NFC? If you're going to compete with these guys, you ain't going to do it beating them 13-10.
No.
You're going to have to score points. You're going to have to get yards. So it's a relief to me when I hear Brian Callahan say that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we got to throw the ball. We got to
And
we got
that's
to
what
score
Vrabel
points.
wanted to do till the very
Yeah.
end. That's
Well,
what I was
turn it
screaming
out.
about.
Yeah.
Like, guys, how do you believe that we're going to beat Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud running the ball 35 times? That's just not going to be how it's done.
Yeah.
Because all they need is a touchdown or two, and you're playing catch up. And
And
that's
we
not how it's going to
can.
work.
We
No.
we have we that's one thing you could always know about past Titans teams. If we get behind, with the
That's
exception of that
raps.
Miami game, where we somehow scored two touchdowns in like 2 minutes. What a collapse by the Dolphins in
Yeah.
that game, by the way.
That was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was. And on that note, let's talk about Will Levis.
Hmm.
We've gotten our hopes up before. I had my hopes high for Marcus, just like you did.
Yep.
I thought he was going to be the guy.
And Levis is just, you look at him on the field
He's a
and you
madman.
truly believe he would die to win.
Yeah,
And there's nobody on earth that I have more confidence. I'm more excited to ride out into the sunset with than this guy because he's got everything you could want. He's got the arm, he's got the poise and the drive and the edge that only a couple dudes have in this league right now. And some of them haven't won yet, but they have the edge, and that edge you need to play well in January. And
yeah.
I'm hopeful to see him playing well in January, sooner than later.
I remember, I think it was after that Dolphins game, that comeback
Yeah,
win. I think you put out a video. It made me
that
laugh so
was.
hard. You said something like, "Hey, I know Houston's got Stroud, Jags got Trev, and
Hmm.
Colts got Anthony Richardson, whatever." Be like, but you said, but I'll tell you what, he said the Tennessee Titans have the craziest mother, you know what, in
We
the
do.
AFC South, and we do. This guy is a
Yeah,
madman,
yeah.
and I hate to say this because people are going to get on me for it, but the last guy that I saw who was just insane like that was Tom Brady. This guy used to be like going nuts on the
Hey,
sideline.
listen, you're talking about mentality, so you shouldn't get
Yeah,
any flack for that.
exactly. I'm strictly
They're
talking about mentality.
yeah, you could say Philip Rivers in a sense kind of
Oh
had that
yeah,
kind of burst and that edge, and obviously that didn't work out.
he
And I
did.
think he was a pretty maybe slightly above average quarterback. But you look at Levis, you look at Philip Rivers, the physical attributes are definitely way more to Levis's credit there. So.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, Brady, what you have to do, and I've said this a million times, you have to expect, or you have to, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to get the best out of everyone.
yeah,
Every player, every 53, when they get to work every day, you have to put the fear of God in them that, if I don't do well, I'm getting my ass chewed out by my quarterback.
yeah,
And when you have that respect for for your leader, the dividends are endless. This is a game of inches.
yeah,
You need 100% effort on every single play of every single game to get to your ultimate goal of being champions. And the guys like Tom Brady got that out of everyone on both
yeah,
sides of the ball. I think it's going to be a snowball effect. I'm so excited, man. Hey, we
yeah,
should be in every game with this kid. We should be in every game with this kid as long as he's protected.
yeah. I think that I I think you've about. I mean, I think they could still pick up a safety or
Yeah,
something over these
yeah.
next couple months, but in terms of improving the roster and turning the roster, I mean, you like to think the O line's improved. Lloyd Cushenberry at center,
Hmm.
J.C. Latham's as big as my house, and
Yeah.
he's coming in at left tackle. You got Skoronski back, who's buffed up, over the
Yep.
offseason. Got to figure out the right side of the O line, but I want to talk about the wide receiver group because I've been saying this a while back in the
Hmm.
Vrabel days, especially out of a place of aggravation.
Hmm.
You got to put the best weapons you can get around a kid to make sure that he's in a position to succeed. Like you have to, you can't stick Will Levis or Bryce Young or Caleb Williams or any young quarterback. You can't stick them out there with just any old guy and expect and any old protection and expect them to produce. I mean, Will
Yeah.
Levis was, I don't know how he did what he did last year with the offensive line we had, and outside of Hopkins, who was he throwing to?
Chris
And
Moore.
Chris Moore and
I was pretty much his second best connection was
yeah,
Chris
it
Moore. That
was
says it all right there.
exactly. And Chris Moore's probably going to be like a wide receiver 4 for Arizona, right, this year or
I
wherever.
couldn't tell
I
you.
don't even know.
Couldn't
So
tell you.
he would have probably come back if Vrabel was.
Oh yeah.
That'd
Oh
have been
yeah.
Vrabel's first act of business. He'd have been like, "We
And they would
gotta."
have tried to sell us on it too. Oh, Chris Moore, number three receiver on our team. I'll take it.
Had
Okay.
2 catches a game last year.
Yeah.
That's perfect for us.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm so excited, like beyond belief, to see Calvin Ridley. The fact that we went out and got, I mean, top wide receiver free agent this year, and like stole him from the Jags. I'm sorry, that'll always bring a smile to my face.
Yeah.
You got Ridley, you got Hopkins, you got Boyd. I'm excited at Pollard and Spears in the backfield.
Mhm.
I'm just glad that they're giving the kid a chance.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, that's what they did with him. Don't we know it? We know who
Yep.
they went out and got. Jalen Hurts, they've tried this with Tua. You can't just stick your young guy out there and evaluate him with nobodies.
Hmm.
So that way, if he comes out and it doesn't work out, God forbid, this year, at least then you know we gotta get somebody else. And I hope that's not
Yeah.
the case. But like worst case, you can at least know, because if he comes out and you got a bunch of nobodies, then who knows why we suck? Is it because of the receivers? Because of the O line? Because of the quarterback? So I'm thrilled with the wide receiving group. Hey, if you enjoyed that clip right there, my full interview with Sal is on the channel. There should be a link to it in the video description below that you can go check out the whole thing. We went about an hour just talking about the Titans. And if you enjoyed the Two Tone Talk podcast, or if you want to check out the Two Tone Talk podcast, you're looking for a new Titans podcast in your life, sub to this channel. Go check out some of the past episodes. There's some doozies in there. And there's some fun little reactions to some other analysts on YouTube and on ESPN and stuff giving the Titans a hard time. That's a new thing I've been doing on the channel, going and checking out that kind of nonsense and giving my reaction to that. Just something to get me through the offseason until football starts. Go check it out. Sub, like, comment, all that good stuff. Tighten up. Bye, everybody.